Good morning, children. Let us begin with lesson 2 of geography, lithosphere. Now, before we start the lesson, let me tell you, in the first lesson we studied about the earth as a living planet. So, earth has the air, water, and the correct distance from the sun, so life is possible. And we studied the various lines we have drawn across the earth for our convenience, and we have studied that. Now we are going to study the four major spheres of earth, that are lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere and biosphere. You can see in the picture, lithosphere is the earth, hydrosphere is the water, atmosphere is the air. So the combination of all these, the biosphere where the life exists. So the next 4 lessons we will be studying about lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere and biosphere. Today we begin with lithosphere and we will be studying the meaning of lithosphere and its importance, structure of earth and its composition, then structure of rocks. Now let us see what is the meaning and importance. Now what is lithosphere? Lithosphere is the outermost solid layer of the earth, is known as lithosphere. Litho means rock. Now this layer is thick in the continents and quite thin under the sea floor. The lithosphere consists of rocks, minerals, soils, etc. Life exists on this layer with the help of the atmosphere and the hydrosphere. Continents are parts of the lithosphere where all different landforms like mountains, plateaus, plains, etc. are found. Now, lithosphere is the outermost layer of the earth where we survive. Now, in the picture you can see the lithosphere we have shown, and the uppermost layer you can see there the continental crust we have shown and the oceanic crust. So the continental crust, there we survive, there we find the different continents. Then the oceanic crust is below that, which is little thin. And on this outermost layer of the earth, we find the landforms like mountains, plateaus, plains, forests, rivers. All these we can find. Now let us see what is there in this earth's interior and composition. Now the outer part we are able to see. What about the inside? Now our planet earth is more than 4.6 billion years old and still in the process of changing. Man is in quest of understanding this change and eager to know more about inside the earth. Now since there are many changes coming and man is eager to know what are these changes. Now with years of study and research, human beings have been able to get information about the materials inside the earth up to 10 to 12 kilometers only. Beyond this, we cannot go inside the earth. Going beyond this depth is very difficult due to the increase of temperature. That is 1 degree Celsius. Every 32 meters you go, the temperature increases and we cannot survive. This we can observe in the mine, the people, the workers working in mines. Sometimes they have to take oxygen cylinders if still they go. So only till 10 to 12 kilometers only we go. Beyond that, if anyone tries to go there, it is very difficult for them to survive. Now, then, how do we know? So to understand more about the Earth's interior, humans are dependent on indirect evidences such as seismic waves, volcanic materials, etc. So what we do, the volcanoes, you have seen when the magma comes out, the scientists search there and they come to know what is there inside. Now the earth interior consists of various materials in different forms. We are not able to reach inside, but we have, with the studies, have come to know. On the basis of the density of material, chemical composition, and physical state of the matter, the Earth's interior is classified broadly into 3 layers. I have shown you a small diagram there. They are crust, mantle, and the core. Now here you can see the small diagram. The crust is the outermost layer, mantle in middle, and the core is the innermost part of the earth. Now let us see what is this crust. The crust is the uppermost layer of the earth. This is made by the silica, aluminium and magnesium. Silica is the sand, it comes in crystalline form. The depth of this layer is around 60 kilometers from the surface. So from surface 60 kilometers, that much is the crust, and in the upper part of the crust only lighter materials are found. Now the continental crust or the upper part is called as Sial. That is because here silica and aluminium is found. It is called as Sial. The lower part is called Simma. That is silica and magnesium or oceanic crust. So the upper layer is also called as continental crust. The lower part is also called as the oceanic crust. Then the middle one is the mantle is the second and the middle layer of the earth. The depth of this layer is up to 2900 kilometers from the surface. The materials are in semi-liquid or partially molten state, which is called as magma. Now because the temperature goes on increasing, so what happens here? So it is 2900 kilometers from the surface of the earth. The first layer I said 60 kilometers. In that 60 only 10 to 12 we are able to reach. So this is still more inside. Temperature is more. So whatever materials are found here are in the semi-liquid. They are not solid, not fully semi-liquid or partially molten state, which is called as magma. The mantle is composed of dense and rigid rocks which have predominance of minerals like magnesium and iron. So we find in this part of the earth magnesium and iron. Then mantle has two parts. The first part is upper mantle or asthenosphere. You need not worry about the word asthenosphere. You should remember the upper mantle, that is molten, and lower mantle or the mesosphere, which is solid. The contact zone of crust and mantle, so where the crust finishes and mantle begin, is called as Moravec discontinuity or MOHO, while the boundary that separates the mantle from the core is called Gutenberg discontinuity. Now this name Moravec and Gutenberg are the name of the scientists. So you should only remember, so where crust and mantle, crust finishes and mantle begins, that is called as Moravec discontinuity or MOHO, and where the boundary that separates the mantle from the core is called as Gutenberg discontinuity. Here the rocks are different in chemical composition from those below and above. Now the innermost, the core. This is the innermost layer of the earth. The depth of this layer is up to 6,371 kilometers from the surface. The most important material of the core are nickel and ferrous, that is iron. So it is known as knife, N-I-F-E, not K-N-I-F-E. So the core is divided into two sublayers. The outer core known as molten core, the inner core known as solid core. You can see a diagram here where the uppermost is the crust, then we have the mantle, then we have the core. Then now some of the facts. The deepest land mines, we are talking about the under the earth's surface. So we have the Akola Peninsula of Russia is around 12 kilometers. Then we have the Kimberley diamond mine in South Africa. That is, you can find diamonds there. It is 3.9 kilometers. And the gold mine of KGF in India is around 1.5 kilometer. Now KGF Kolar, in Kolar the gold mines, today they are shut down. So no more the work goes on because we have taken off the maximum gold available there. Now it is not found in much. So in these mines, the workers who used to work had their health problems, and just it was 1.5 kilometer also they had to struggle. So these are the three mines, the deepest mines. Then next we go to rocks. Now we said that the crust consists of rocks. So what are these rocks? Rocks are the solid inorganic substances that are found in the crust of the earth. They are aggregate of minerals. So rocks are formed due to various natural processes. On the basis of the mode of formation, rocks are classified into three types. Now igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. Now what are these igneous rocks? Now the word igneous means fire. It is derived from the Latin word ignis or Sanskrit word agni. Now they are formed by the cooling of the molten matter of the earth. Now when the volcanic eruptions takes place, the magma, the molten, the liquid form comes out from the mouth, the vent of the volcanoes, and when this cools down, the igneous rocks are formed. Now since the igneous rocks are made first, so they are called as the primary rocks. Now again in igneous rocks, we have two types of rocks. They are intrusive igneous rocks and extrusive igneous rocks. Now what is the difference between them? You can see a picture there of the rocks. Now the molten material, magma of the Earth's interior cool and solidify below the surface, and it is called as intrusive igneous rocks. Now intrusive means internal. When the magma comes out from the volcanic, when the volcano bursts, it comes from the deep inside the earth. So some part comes outside. Inside only which cools down is called as the intrusive rocks. They made large crystals and are found at depth. Crystals means they are in the crystalline crystals, big crystals. You have seen this kal sakre. So like that, the crystals big, they are formed and they are found at the depth. They do not come out, internal. So when only from the deep down they come, and some level they solidify. So examples of intrusive rocks are granite, diorite, gabbros. Then extrusive rocks, as the name suggests, external. So they are made by solidification of magma above the earth's surface. As soon as the magma comes out, it cools down. So these rocks cool and solidify very quickly. They are formed on the earth's surface. Now examples are basalt and andesite. Then sedimentary rocks. The word sedimentary is derived from a Latin word sedimentum, which means settling down. Now sedimentary rocks are formed by the agency of water, wind and ice. These agents break and erode the igneous rocks, transport those broken fragments and deposit them at certain places. The deposit of these materials often occur in the form of layers or strata. Therefore, sedimentary rocks are also called as stratified rocks. These rocks are also called as aqueous rocks because they are formed in water bodies like lake, sea, and ocean bed. Now sedimentary rocks, as the name suggests, sedimentation, settling down. So what happens? The igneous rocks are formed with the rain, water, rivers. They break down and they are deposited into the interiors of the water bodies. You can see the pictures. They are formed like strata, one above the other. So sometimes they are called as stratified rocks also, and they are called as aqueous rocks because they are formed under the water bodies. Then these sedimentary rocks are formed in different ways. You need not worry much about it. You should know them. So mechanically formed sedimentary rocks they are built by fragments of pre-existing rocks which have been produced by the process of weathering and erosion. Example, sandstone and shale. Weathering means cutting down, the cutting of rocks. The igneous rocks break. Erosion means flowing away. The chemically formed sedimentary rocks are commonly formed by process of evaporation of water containing salts in the solution. So the rocks which remain back, that rock salt, gypsum, they are formed in this way. Then organically formed sedimentary rocks, that is organic sediments are those derived by the accumulation of remains of organisms, the animals, human beings, shells of marine organisms, remains of plants and animal. They go on deposited one above other, and like that we give limestone and coal. So coal is a very good example of sedimentary rocks, and we should not use it. Now the use is less. So because it takes many thousands of years for the coal to be formed, so we have to be careful. Then you can see the picture of some of the rock: shale, sandstone, rock salt and gypsum. So you can see the picture of some of the stones. We have limestone, coal. So you can see the some of the rocks, limestone and coal, you can see there how they are formed there. Then we go to the metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks are those which are formed by the process of metamorphism or alteration of pre-existing rocks, that is change. So metamorphism means change of form, which may be physical or chemical or both, the influence of heat and pressure. Now metamorphic rocks are formed by the change in igneous or sedimentary rocks. So here we have some of the examples. Granite becomes gneiss. This is basalt, not ballast, B-A-S-A-L-T. That becomes schist. Limestone becomes marble. So limestone after some time with heat and pressure becomes marble. Sandstone becomes quartzite. Coal becomes graphite, and graphite becomes diamond. So all are familiar with diamonds. So metamorphic rocks are the hardest rocks on the earth. This you should remember, that they are the hardest rocks on the earth, and these rocks supply us with precious stones. You must have seen in jewelry shops like sapphire, it will be a green color, ruby, sorry, sapphire will not be green, ruby, and sapphire will be blue, ruby, maroon color, emerald and diamonds. I will show you the picture of these precious stones. You can see here, you can see the picture of emerald, a ruby, sapphire and diamond. So emerald is green, ruby is reddish, sapphire is blue, diamonds are white. Then you can see a picture of cycle of rock we have discussed. So you can see the cycle of rocks. Are you able to see? You are able to see now, cycle of rock. Now just see here, there we will come, volcanic eruption takes place, the magma comes out. Igneous rocks are formed. Now igneous rocks which comes on the surface are the extrusive rocks which solidify are inside. Now these rocks cut and become sediments, small pieces. These small pieces are taken away and deposited somewhere. You can see the stratified, one above the other, sedimentary rocks are formed. Sedimentary rocks with heat and pressure becomes metamorphic rocks. Again they melt, magma is formed. Again like that the rocks are formed. So hope you have understood that how is our earth and how is interior. Still we will go ahead with this lesson. I stop here, and an assignment for you. Now in assignment, name the following: 3 layers of earth interior, crust, mantle and core, 3 landforms found on lithosphere, plateau, plain and mountain, 3 igneous rocks, granite, basalt and gabbro, 3 sedimentary rocks, coal, limestone and sandstone, 3 precious stones supplied by metamorphic rocks. I have given 4. You can write any 3, or if you want you can write all the 4. Next you have short answer questions. So there are around 5 questions. You can read them. Then we have give reasons. Now human beings cannot go beyond the depth of 10 to 12 kilometers inside the earth. It is difficult to go beyond 10 to 12 kilometers inside the earth because of increased temperature. Temperature will be more. Now continental crust is called Sial. because it is rich in silica and aluminium. Oceanic crust is called as sigma. It is rich in silica and magnesium. The core is called knife. It is rich in nickel and ferrous. Sedimentary rocks are called aqueous rocks because they are formed in the water bodies like lake, sea and ocean beds. Here even sedimentary rocks are called the secondary rocks. They are formed second time. Or now you have a diagram showing the interior of the earth. You can use 3 different colors here. You can see the first, the mantle. The upper mantle is there. You can see the surface and the crust. So where this then we have the mantle, then we have the core. In that we have shown outer core and inner core. Textbook also you have. This is little easy, you can draw. So this was about the interior of the earth and rocks. Next time we will study what are the forces that change the earth's surface. So thank you. Have a pleasant day.